call the meeting to order. All of the board members are present. If everyone will check your cell phones and make sure they're turned off. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the July 17, 2018 meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
Madam Chair, motion to approve.
Mr. Pollack, thank you. Is there a second?
Second. I'll second.
Is that Mr. Cashlin? Okay. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is public comment. This is the time for anyone wishing to speak to the board about any item. The next two items are public meeting items, so this would be talking about anything else other than those two. Seeing none, we'll close public comment. The next item on the agenda, I'm sorry, those are public meeting items. Yes. Let's back up. The two items on our agenda tonight are public meeting items, which means we won't be taking comments from the public at that time. So if someone's here to speak on either one of those items, now would be the time. Seeing none, we'll close public comment. The next item is deviation application for lot 38. Is the applicant here? Okay, come up to the podium, please. State your name and address for the record and tell us about your project.
Okay. My name is David Howes, and I live at 2401 Willow Drop Way in Oviedo. Myself and my family own a few businesses here in Oviedo. Steve Ratcliffe is our real estate consultant. The project that we're looking to do is we're looking to build a couple single-family homes right there off of 419, lot 38, 39. The concept is very similar to the properties on Oviedo Boulevard, kind of heading up toward Oviedo on the Park. But instead of the two-story, be more of a single-story, single-family home, so kind of a scaled-down version. But kind of that same, front porch, smaller lot concept that's along the Oviedo Boulevard there.
Okay. Are there any questions of the applicant? Thank you. Can I ask, from what I read, lot 38 and 39 are very similar?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you come back up, please? Since those are very similar items, you want to go ahead and tell us about 39 as lot 39 as well?
Okay.
When we vote on them, we'll have to vote separately.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought we were doing it together. So yeah, they're both exactly the same concept. So we're trying to keep some consistency, and again, same thing we talked about as far as lot 38 goes for lot 39. Kind of that front porch, landscaping around it to make it kind of very similar to the projects that are right there on Oviedo Boulevard.
Thank you.
Right.
Are there any questions of the applicant? Thank you. Sit down. May we hear from staff? I didn't mean go sit down. Can we hear from staff?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Madam Chair, board members. As you know, this application is for lot 38, and the owner of lot 38 also owns lot 39, which is the second deviation application. The lots are located side by side. This is a request for the board to approve a 3-foot deviation to the required 8-foot side setback requirements for the R2 zoning districts per table 4.2, representing a 37.5% deviation to allow the applicant to place a single-family home no closer than 5 feet from the east and west property lines. The subject property is part of or within an existing non-conforming and antiquated subdivision, and the lots are non-conforming. The sites are on Chuliota Road between Avenue B and Broadway Avenue in the Washington Park Oviedo Plat. The property has a medium density future land use designation and an R2 zoning district. The requirements for the R2 is 8-foot wide side setbacks, a 70-foot minimum lot width and 7,500 square feet lot area, and this lot is 28 feet wide, approximately 3,500 square feet, so it's very limited in its abilities to meet the current codes as they are today. Staff reviewed the application, both of them, for compliance with LDC Section 2.7 with respect to the deviation request, as well as Section 7.2 for the treatment of non-conforming lots. Staff found that there are special conditions that exist that are peculiar to these lots, being that it is part of an antiquated plat adopted and platted in 1926. Due to the existing nonconformity, the reduction in the side setbacks will be needed in order to allow them to build a small single-family home on the two properties. The scale and intensity of what the applicants are trying to do is compatible with the surrounding residential structures, and we don't anticipate any adverse impacts to the adjacent properties' abilities to use their properties. The applicant is willing to install one medium or two small trees in order to reduce any visual impacts from the setback deviation. There will not be any challenges for them to meet the 25% open space requirement. So that requirement in the comp plan will still be met, and there are no environmentally sensitive areas that will be impacted by these two applications. So with that, staff recommends approval of the deviation order for lots 38 and 39 with the condition of planting the trees to help shield the setbacks. That's all I have.
Thank you. Are there any questions of staff?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Wright?
Just real quick, on both the 38 and 39, on page 8, well, I'm looking at the first one, page 8, attachment 3, sorry, page 7, attachment 3, for 38, the mitigative techniques, the applicant said he proposed 2 canopy trees, 2 media or 2 sub-canopy trees, and 6 hedge plants, but that's not reflected in our development order, so was there a change?
Great, that's what they had proposed, but when we met with the director, we just felt that the size of the lot, those two, and the number of trees, canopies, and mediums together, some of those trees will end up not being viable. The lot is so small that the lot itself doesn't even require a tree, so them planting a medium tree would be sufficient to still keep the viability of the trees.
Okay, so you were aware of that, staff's good with that? Okay.
Yep.
I guess the only other question I would have too is just a couple pages down or pages up on the site plan. I think it goes for both of them. I know it's minor, it's probably just an oversight that the proposed site plan basically shows the driveway ending before it hits the pavement. I'm hoping that we don't leave a gap there that the city has to maintain, so that the driveway will actually go to the asphalt or to the road.
Yes, as part of their right-of-way permit.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Are there any other questions of staff?
Madam Chair, on that same page, the narrative from the applicant, that's again page 7, attachment 3. On number 2 in the compatibility, I think this is just a typo, but it says the adjacent property to the east and north is vacant. The property to the west contains a single-family home, but the property to the west is number 39, which is the other one we're looking at. So is that just flip? West is vacant, east has the 500 square foot home? When I'm looking at the plat, 39 is to the west of 38.
Yeah, to the west is number 39. That's vacant.
Which is, right, that's vacant, right, because that's the other thing under consideration tonight. So I think, I don't think it's going to make a difference in the actual development order, because I don't think it's mentioned there that I could see, but...
As far as the other structures in the development order?
I don't see it mentioned there actually in the development order. I think it's just in the narrative.
Right, no, we don't
So-
put the conditions of the other lots in the development order, just the conditions on the subject property.
I just wanted to get clear that the two sites we're actually looking at, the 38, the 39 is the one to the west, which is vacant.
Yes.
And so the 500 square foot single-family home that already exists is actually to the east.
I don't know, the tiny home is to the east of you guys, right? It's further to the west, like a couple lots over.
What are you saying?
I'm sorry, can you come back up to the podium so the microphone will pick it up, please?
Yeah, you're right. It's 38, 39, looking from east to west, and then just west of 39 is the,
The small home.
yes.
Okay, so that home's actually in 40 then? That's that
Yes.
one? That
Mhm,
one.
The one with the tiny home on it, the
Yes.
small home.
Okay.
Does that clear it up, Mr. Minton?
So what's on 37 then? That is vacant as well? I'm just making
That's
clear that
vacant.
the east is
It's
vacant.
vacant.
The west is vacant now, but is also owned by you, and so then it's 40 that has the home on that side.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the one to the east of you is, the east of 38 is vacant.
Right, 38, 39, 40 is to the west with the smaller home, and then 37 is vacant. So it's just the two lots in between.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions of staff? Okay, what's the board's pleasure on Lot 38?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Wright?
make a motion to approve deviation application for lot 38. Second.
Okay, and that's with staff's recommendation?
I apologize if I missed, if it was something that
Let me get back up to it.
I approved as submitted is the way I was reading it, so, for 38.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Lopez, second. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd just like to talk about roof overhangs a little bit first. Do you know what is the roof overhang where the drip edge will be sticking out from?
Can you state your name and address for the record?
My name is Stephen Rackloff at 750 East Chapman Road, Oviedo, Florida. What was your question again?
The roof overhang at the soffits. What is that overhang?
Yeah, it's going to be, typically we're going to probably run a 4 to 5 pitch roof. The overhang is going to be maintenance-free soffits, and it's probably looking at 16 inches overhang.
Inches? And that's
It'll be a gables,
that's into the 5-foot setback
yes,
beyond it.
yep.
How high is the drip edge from the roof?
I think what we're going to do is more than likely we'll end up doing maybe a slab on grade, but we are going to raise it up like a foot or foot and a half. And so you're looking at probably 9.5 feet. With my client, I haven't really talked to him about, we're going to do 10-foot ceilings or 8-foot ceilings, and we may end up doing 10-foot ceilings. If we do that, we're going to end up being about 11 foot above grade.
Okay, so, I mean, that's a lot of water coming off of each side, and it's going to land really close to the neighboring properties, and I know.
Well, more than likely, we're going to gutter. I mean, I can just tell you that, these are going to be pretty nice little homes, and it's an automatic thing that we're doing on everything now. Just given the rainfall, we gutter everything.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have before us Lot 39. What's the board's pleasure on that one?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve deviation 180288 as approved by staff.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Do we have a second?
A second.
Mr. Minton?
Yes.
Is there any discussion on this one? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Good luck with your projects. Okay, next item, public hearing. We don't have any public hearings. We don't have any discussion items listed. Does any of the board members have anything we need to discuss? Okay. Our future meeting dates are August 21st and September 4th. We know that we have something for both of those meetings and the next one after it at least.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll actually be here on a somewhat regular basis for a little bit. And as always, if you know you can't be here, please let Dahlia know, so we'll know whether or not we'll have a quorum. If there's nothing else, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mr. Benton? All those in favor, or we need a second.
Second.
Mr. Wright, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned.
So after
Why don't
September 4th,